Yeah. Yeah. That's your spot. Yeah. I had to go to Chris Banks' office. The county. Yeah. A few weeks ago, I actually went into the 18.
Yeah, then it's like full in the back.
So, first Friday. And so they go on. Good claims. And, so from my office, yeah, I actually worked for the department, the state.
Okay.
So.
Oh, look what you're doing.
Yeah, I thought I had an end. It's not office.
You'll be there or? I'll be there.
Oh, shoot.
You know,
I think.
I didn't see the registration go through
Oh, like three-ish.
No.
not until,
For Charlie?
for you.
No, fine.
and then the other question was that,
Is Charlie bringing what?
did I ask?
Yes, right, yeah.
You should.
Say
Really?
to be-
No, but I don't know.
We can get that.
We can see if they have the. Is he a service house?
No wonder why it didn't go through. I gotta get, for some reason I only do
Android.
iMessage. I can't do SMS for some reason.
That's crazy.
Like nothing's happened.
I think
That's the way they've been.
Doesn't make it easy.
It's funny because I have like people, like sometimes I feel like I get a close call. And then I'm like, I block them because that's what it shows up. Like I just tried to message Andrew, but.
Well, there's also no service.
Oh, yeah, this is too much. I think the intent is good.
We get ready, so then when Ryan's ready, we can start the online portion.
Commissioner's walking in now.
Okay, perfect.
I don't see that.
So we have two people
Yeah.
online, three people.
As comms looking.
Exactly.
We're up, we're recording.
He said, end of time.
Yes, he's walking in right now. Hey, everybody on the line. We'll be starting in just a few minutes.
Good evening, everyone. Can you give a thumbs up if you hear us?
Well, let me get rid of the virtual background.
Please. Yep. What's going on, Roman?
Congrats, Roman, on City and State.
What do you mean that?
Oh, right.
I'm not
You're welcome.
All right, so we're gonna kick
Hi,
this off.
everyone. Sorry I couldn't make it in person.
Yeah, you should be sorry, Roman. Happy early birthday, by the way. You're pretty old. 250? Yeah, so we're gonna kick off this meeting. Unfortunately, Mercedes is bit, well, she has some business to attend to with her job. So I want to thank everyone that came in person. And actually perfect time. The commissioner just walked in, and Wendy, the former chairwoman.
Yeah.
So thank you, everyone, for coming, even remotely. And first, I just want to acknowledge a few people. First is Lori Windsor, the Brooklyn director for Congresswoman Malliotakis. Do we have any other staffers, any other elected officials? I guess not. Also, I want to thank Brooklyn VA Medical Center for hosting us. Is there anybody here from the Brooklyn VA?
I think Catherine stepped out, which is.
Oh, okay. Okay. So also we have Commissioner Hendon, which he will speak in a few minutes. As far as the Veterans Advisory Board, I'll just start with any introductions. Myself, I'm the Vice Chair, Ryan Graham, Air Force vet, OIF, and I represent Queens. I'm going to pass it off to Josh.
Joshua Suglal, Navy veteran, and I represent Manhattan.
Ashton Stewart, board member, and Navy veteran, first Gulf War.
Andrew Walcott, board member, Air Force veteran, represent Brooklyn.
And the former chairwoman.
Hi, Wendy McClinton, Army female veteran, and I represent.
Anybody else anybody online? I guess
I
no,
don't see any board members on.
doesn't look like
Yep.
it. To kick this off, I'm going to ask DVS first off, no, Commissioner, do you want to say anything first?
Yeah,
or
I can get it.
before going to any questions?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Just thank you so much, everybody, just for coming together. Between folks who are online and here in the flesh, just, for this, our last Veterans Advisory Board meeting of the year. As mentioned, James Hendon, Commissioner, New York City Department of Veteran Services, joined here by Michael Bocchini, our Senior Director of Governmental Affairs, behind the computer. Also got Nicole Orlando, Deputy Chief of Staff and Director of Veterans Transition. Just before I get into mine, I want to throw the mic just briefly. I'll just put it out in front of them to talk about the memorial as far as giving an update. We always want to use these forums to give an update to what's going on with our memorial honoring our post 9/11 war veterans.
All right. Thank you, sir. So post 9/11 fallen service member memorial update. DVS would like to take a moment to share where things stand with the memorial. This memorial has been presented in prior forums and to the Veterans Advisory Board. And so this is just part of our commitment to make sure we include this message for all the meetings in all the different boroughs. The memorial continues to gain progress following the departure of project lead and chiefs of staff Cassandra Alvarez. Responsibilities are now realigned and fall to Assistant Commissioner Charles Rivera. So Chuck, if you guys know Chuck. From day one, we have strived to create an open, community-shaped effort, and tonight's discussion is part of that ongoing public engagement. The intention of this memorial is to honor the 100+ New Yorkers who have given their lives in Iraq and Afghanistan, and to offer a place of reflection for families and the broader post 9/11 veteran community. The concept design by Dewey Bloomberg is in active refinement, and nothing is final at this stage. As a reminder, the artists emerged from a citywide open call reviewed by a diverse panel that included veterans and civic leaders, Gold Star parents and spouses, post 9/11 and Vietnam veterans, VSO leaders across eras, and the Veterans Advisory Board members are at the table and should feel that they're part of this discussion. A part of this ongoing effort is to direct phone calls and letters to families of the fallen where we have valid contacts, and we want to keep expanding that list. So if you have names of family members who haven't felt included, please share those with us so that we can include them in the conversation. At this time, the process path is as follows. Refine the DCLA percent for art, submit to Public Design Commission for conceptual review. That will be a public hearing. And then a post-approval materials and constructability work. And then a Public Design Commission preliminary review, and then fabrication of the memorial. Site context. The proposed Whitestone waterfront location aligns with where many of our post 9/11 veterans and fallen and family members are rooted. And it also dovetails with Department of Transportation and EDC resilience and access improvements to that area. DVS will document comments from this session and share any upcoming Public Design Commission checkpoints prior to their convening. Bottom line, the work continues. We want to transparently include this work with you so that the final memorial is worthy of those who never came home. At that point, any questions? Oh, let me let these people into the meeting too.
Thanks so much, Mike. If anybody has anything, once again, it's nyc.gov/vet memorial. just to learn more about this memorial, which we really want to do right by our post 9/11 war veterans and their loved ones. Next thing, just to speak of a couple of upcoming events, Veterans Day breakfast is going to be next Wednesday at the Metropolitan Museum of Art. Be there or be square. We have the place from 10 to 2 speaking as far as run of show and pomp and circumstance. We run from about 10:30, about 11:30 or so. The rest of the time, enjoy the Met goes dark on Wednesdays, and so we ask folks to come, bring a loved one, bring a friend, etc. We really want to allow people just to embrace this. We can have up to 600 people there. So to sign up, the only thing is you need to sign up first. So go to the website, nyc.gov/vets. On the home page, you can click, and there's a form right there. We just ask you to fill it out before coming, just a control mechanism. So once again, nyc.gov/vets. Go to that home page, you click there, and it has a link. Anybody you know, have them sign up, and it's going to be at the Metropolitan Museum of Art on Wednesday, November 5th, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. With the run show itself, the actual speaking portion of the breakfast, there'll be food, etc. About 10:30 to 11:30. You want to get to it so folks just enjoy the museum. Veterans Day Parade, November 11th. It's Fifth Avenue from 23rd Street to 47th Street with mustering before, let's say around that 11 o'clock hour, with that step off occurring, after 11. It's the 11th hour, 11th day, 11th month. So the actual memorial event occurs at Madison Square Park at 11 a.m. And then after that, around the 12 o'clock hour is really the step off. And so anyone who'd like to learn more, the United War Veterans Council runs it. It's uwvc.org. Somebody will love to have you march with them. So if you don't have a group already, you can march with somebody with a contingent. I see Katie putting her hand up, and the VA's going to represent, or other groups that need to march with somebody. We help connect those dots, but it's uwvc.org for more details about the parade. I'm looking at Wendy when I say this. We do a veteran feeding program where every Wednesday we have volunteers come together at 744 Berryman Street in Canarsie to pack meals that are picked up by veteran service organizations. Amazon helps us also get this food to food insecure veterans. That's every Wednesday. Folks gather about 8:30, from 8:30 about 12:30. Actual work is occurring, and groups are picking up what comes out to be 8,000 meals or 2,000 meal kits. On Wednesday, November 19th, we got turkeys with it. So it's going to be 1,300 turkeys in addition to the typical run of food. And so, anybody wants to come any Wednesday, we would love to take you. Trust me, we could use you. But on that particular Wednesday, we got the turkeys in the mix as well. We would appreciate any volunteer support in general. I'm going to throw, Wendy, anything you want to add to that? Because your people who do this. VBSJ does so much of this work, y'all. Yeah.
Thank you so much. But what I really want is that today we did that same food service and we ran out of it. Didn't have enough. What's going to happen now because of the federal cuts with SNAP and several other things, Medicaid, Medicare, all of that, we're going to have to look at how we can pool resources, how we can even start our own, having with our ecumenical community, which is a very good base for in-kind services, to see if they may want to give donations or start making pantry bags or however, because this is going to be big. And you don't know how many military families are affected and are receiving SNAP benefits to assist with their day-to-day. This is active duty and veterans that receive this benefit, which is going to be cut. So we pretty much saw it today. We even had reduced numbers in the delivery of bags. So we have to really see how we can move that, especially in our veteran and our active duty community. What can we do through VA? What can we do through other not-for-profits, the ecumenical community, to see how we can pool resources to be able to deliver, food to our veteran and active duty.
Okay. An idea, we got to see what HelloFresh says back to this, but an idea we've been thinking of floating to them. And I will come back to folks with some hands. So this food comes from HelloFresh, private companies, folks where you pay the money and they send you the prepared the items and the instructions on how to take those items and make your own fresh meals. I want to see if HelloFresh would entertain asking their customers, hey, click if you want to donate, 5 cents towards veteran feeding, that some other way, because they're doing this gratis. And so we need to make sure they stay in the game, and maybe not just stay in the game, but put their foot on the gas here. So we want to see if there's some way we can work with them to get more food out of them, thoughtfully. Because this is, it's not just about getting more food, it's about making sure this group can maintain what they're already doing, because they're already under pressure financially to continue to make these donations. So we got to keep them in the fight and expand it. So no, I completely hear you, Wendy. Yeah.
I know we mentioned the impact on SNAP and such. I want to let you folks know. So five borough veterans were meeting on Friday with a coalition of food pantries and food banks, City Harvest, Food Bank New York City, sat on a hunger task force, and we are putting together a proposal to what's going to kick off to be our Advocate and Alleviate initiative, where we are going to take the leaders of those organizations that are comfortable with advocating and speaking to our congressional members, talk about why this is important. So on that side, we'll handle the lobbying side. On the alleviation side, we are pulling our volunteers and our resources from all over the city to try to bolster up the volunteer forces for collection of food, processing of the meals and stuff like that, and then distribution to the families. So I'd love to connect with all of you folks to kind of give you the updates, what we get from that, hopefully we can pull some resources towards you folks, and yeah, be helpful. So
Michael, let's definitely talk afterwards because I work in also the policy side.
Perfect.
So I work with quite a few congressional officials.
Excellent.
So we could talk after.
Sure.
I jumped the gun. Actually, some of this stuff was supposed to be in the new business.
I'm sorry.
Report. No. No, it's actually my fault. Before moving forward, well, first off, Lori, would you like to say anything from the Congresswoman's office or have anything?
Basically, thank you for having me. I've been invited by Ashton and I've been coming online the last few months, so this is the first time I've been here in person, but I had to because it's our own backyard instead of out district. So it's a pleasure to meet you all in person, and I really respect the work that you do.
For you guys online, if you missed it, it's Lori Windsor. She's a Brooklyn director for Congresswoman Nicole Maliotakis. Is it okay if we see your email address?
Sure,
If there's any, I
absolutely.
don't know if you want to post that in the chat.
Yeah.
If you can.
Yep.
Appreciate it, Mike. Moving forward, so I don't know if you want to handle it, Commissioner, or Mike, since Mike, I know you're a senior policy advisor. If you can give an update on the last city council hearing on the actions taken towards the last year's VAB annual report. Recommendations.
Yeah, we can start. And first off, I want to say, going forward, we're going to post a response to the VAB reports on our website. So within 90 days of those reports being published, we appreciate what the Veterans Advisory Board does. We'll be posting a response to those things. When it comes to the different items, give me a second. Can you come back? I just want to make sure I'm looking through it. So I'm speaking.
We
already
can come back
testified
to
on.
that.
I just want to make sure I'm,
We can come back to that. Because I know I don't want you to be thrown off. All right, so old business. So we're gonna move into old business before we move into the main topic. So especially for you guys that are on remotely, the primary topic is going to be education, which we will get to it in a moment. But as far as old business, from the last meeting, it was discussed that we discussed the unique identifier needed in Vet Connect for veterans that don't utilize emails. Have you guys been able to work that side? I know Mercedes brought it up the last meeting.
So we don't have that unique identifier established quite yet. It is on the task list. So Emily's group, who's our project manager, working with Combined Arms with the vendor, they're tracking that. They know that's something that they need to do. In the interim, we are collecting all those names. We're still continuing to work with those veterans, and we're collecting a unique phone number for them, so that once we find out what the identifier is, we can reach out to them and get that established.
All right. Well, of course, yeah, it's important because obviously we know there's a lot of older vets and exactly utilize technology.
Yep.
So they have no idea what the hell Vet Connect is. So, but yeah, definitely we'll definitely keep us keep the board appraised of what happens moving forward on that. If does anybody have anything as far as any old business, which I assume not. All right, so we're gonna go over to new business. So I know some of it, Commissioner, you mentioned, as well as you, Mike, as well as any significant Veterans Day events. The Met next week on Wednesday, the parade on 11/11. I know Wendy spoke on the food pantry and Mike jumped on top of that. Is there any other general DBS updates?
One, I want to make sure folks know about the city council hearing tomorrow morning. So they're going to be having a finance committee hearing for Intro 740. This is the legislation that would extend the Cold War property tax exemption to veterans here in New York City. It's a statewide program that local municipalities had to opt into. Up to this point, New York City had not opted into it. There have been, various veterans who've been advocating for this for many years. One of whom, Mike Inuso, who had joined us at the VAB meeting in Staten Island, and I know he's planning on testifying remotely tomorrow. The commissioner will be testifying tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. and that'll be at the city council's conference room at City Hall. So we're very excited about that. We estimate about 11,000 veterans fall into that category of Cold War service, but outside of the declared war periods for the Korean War and the Vietnam War, outside of having an expeditionary medal, for example, Marines in Lebanon. And then there are that many veterans that also own property here in New York City where they'll be able to apply. It's a little less than $1,000, like when you factor it in. You can add on to that service connected disability, so that changes the formula. But the baseline, when we think everything is said and done, we think it'll be about a $10 million benefit to veterans in New York City. That'll help make the city more affordable for them and keep them here in the city as long as they want.
All right. Actually, I do want to jump on top of that. We do have something, wearing my VFW cab, my legislative cab. We have something we're hoping it's going to be delivered to the governor's desk. If you're rated at 100%, get full property tax exemption. But now it's not exactly a home rule type of thing, but it is gonna go to the different municipalities in the state. So anybody online also, that's something to keep in mind. There's a bill that State Senator Joe Adabo pushed, and the partner bill was Assemblywoman Stacey Febvre-Amato. So it's been out there for 5-6 years, and it finally passed. It kept dying in the assembly, but keep that in mind. We're almost going to be as good as Virginia, Texas, Florida, Illinois, some of those states that they have, and it's a full property tax exemption. But now it's going to come down to lobbying the council.
That'd be Senate Bill S1183.
Yes, and
it was
874.
It was substituted for 874.
So that's something I just also wanted to bring. So definitely, if you know any, we're just going to wait on the governor to sign it, but definitely keep it in mind, especially if you live here in the city. Definitely lobby your local council member to push a bill or a resolution on that.
Is it $1,000 that they save annually?
It's
on the Cold War.
on the
Yes.
Cold War, but it's a percentage of their assessed value of their home. So it's not like a flat. Not everybody gets the same amount of money.
Okay.
But the way the formula works, it'll be approximately under $1,000. For some people, it'll be more or less.
And was the 11,000 veterans who qualify as Cold War services?
That's
category, that's nationwide.
no, that's here in the city.
That's just in the city.
So of the approximately 200,000 veterans that live here in New York City, if you look at periods of service from 1945 to 1991, and you subtract out our estimate of how many of them would have had at least one day of military service, either in the declared war period of the Korean War or in the declared war period of the Vietnam War. So like an example, Mike is that veteran from Staten Island who's been working on this. He enlisted in the Navy 20 days after the official declared end of the Vietnam War in 1975. So according to the VA, the Vietnam War ended on April 7th, 1975. He enlisted in the Navy on April 27th, 1975. Served 4 years, made it to E4, was an aircraft mechanic, high stress job, but doesn't check that box for the property tax exemption. So veterans like him, we think there's about 11,000 of them.
Awesome.
Yep.
Sharing such good anecdote, example.
He speaks better than me.
You can hear it. You'll be able to hear it in the commissioner's testimony tomorrow.
And then, Ron, whenever you're ready, I can go pound for pound as far as VAB stuff. It's a lot. I'll try to run through it, and this will be in writing on the VAB's website as far as nyc.gov/vet board. This is part of testimony from, this was in September City Council hearing. The topic was the Veteran Advisory Board. I'll go through it and just be clear. This is stuff that's from that testimony, and we'll post all this. You don't have to write everything, but I'll try to get through as much as I can. Jump in if there's any questions you have as far as responses we put with VAB, feedback. One was about the Dwyer program, and it was just the feedback from the VAB was get things in order with getting this money out in a better and more efficient way. By the time the hearing occurred, this Dwyer has been pushed in the right direction. A lot of it was the flow of funds and making sure we could get the money that goes from the state to the city's health department and then to us. That process, along with the contract system taking so much time, it frustrated things. And the contracts piece, it took a long time, but we got it moving. And then as far as the flow of funds piece, we're in a place now where it's recognized, the money's recognized directly as being in DVS's hands going forward, instead of it being something we have to fight to make sure it gets from one entity to another entity to us. So the Dwyer thing, there has been movement there. There was another one about the VAB appointments and the terms for members that was in the report. For the appointments, this is something that dates back to the council looks at an appointment as, Ryan, you're appointed, your term starts on the day I'm giving you this letter telling you're appointed. Meanwhile, Andrew, if you're appointed by the mayor, you're covering on an existing term, kind of like someone who serves in Congress, where that term has a set time. And so you may be covering into something. It's got a set start and end date. You're flowing into it. This is a disagreement that transcends us. So when it comes to trying to reconcile these dates, one set of dates is from Koch, another set of dates is from Bloomberg, another set of dates is from Blasio. And so reconciling the dates, and not just that, but the way that it's seen, I don't know that we'll be able to fix that because of the difference that's been decades old in how council interprets it making appointments versus the mayor interpreting an appointment for these types of boards. As far as there was a thing about VAB bylaws and just things about attendance, participation, codifying responsibilities, we're open to that. So we're fine with kind of figuring this out with folks. The flag, if it's not in law, it doesn't have as much teeth behind it at the end of the day. So we worry about that, and so we can come to an agreement while say, I'm the commissioner, or while, you were the vice chair, Mercedes the chair. But what if you have another commissioner, another chair, another vice chair? So just want to flag that. So we're happy to get into something, put something on paper, but recognizing that law is the only thing that is a term here. And so we got to think that through as far as when we talk about getting in the weeds on things. There was verbiage about helping vets get involved in the political process. We can't play that game as government. The closest we do is promote joining community boards. We tell the veterans, go to nyc.gov/vet community board. Process usually is through February. It's year round. For Staten Island, there's no end date to join, to sign up for Staten Island, so we can get more vets in it that way. But beyond that, we can't really touch the politics. Other groups I pray can. So if you look at like a 5-borough, veterans with, Mike Mato said that could be a place. But for us, it's the community board. It's the closest we can do to touch it. Another one was about getting increased funding for DVS. That has come to fruition, and we appreciate the board. People read this stuff, So when it comes to our head count, we've gone from, we started the last fiscal year at 39. We've gone into this fiscal year with 49 as far as our authorized strength. So new bodies to help us with claims, to help with housing, help with employment, with outreach, and help us with our backup office things as far as running our Vet Connect portal and burials. First time having a burials person on staff. And so it's been a win-win for us as far as going up to a $7.6 million budget now with 49 people. We post the budgets on nyc.gov/vet reports, by the way. If anyone ever wants to see what we look like, it takes you directly to the 2 to 3 pages from the budget. That is us on nyc.gov/vet reports. Another one was, are we documenting the process, the programming, what we're doing? This came from Paul Dietrich said a year or so ago, if I refer a veteran to you guys, how do I know that person's been served appropriately? How can I track that? How can you make it possible for me to be automatically informed? The new Vet Connect portal we have, which we launched July 1st, so this fiscal year, it accounts for that. So a lot of issues about, I want to see the balls and strikes of DVS's work in a better way, in a more nuanced way, especially if I am making a referral. That's been accounted for in that, at nyc.gov/vet connect. Another piece, the Street Vendors Advisory Board, we're still trying to push the council to enact its Intro 686. This would make a veteran seat on the Street Vendor Advisory Board. That's still not done. And that's more of a council piece as far as trying to get that across the finish line. And we're trying internally to sound the alarm at every hearing, almost every hearing we speak on this, but no movement as of late. And another one, there was some things about, hey, what are we doing to be right with student veterans, particularly student veteran housing? So not to speak to student veterans, but to all housing, we've seen recently passed, there's a veterans preference in Housing Connect now, 10% veterans preference, which is a game changer. Also, any veteran who has a hearing, vision, or mobility ailment, we as DVS can sign off, and Katie, VA, can sign off saying this person has service-connected hearing, vision, mobility ailment. That allows them to access the set-aside units that Housing Connect has just for those disabled veterans. We think those are very, very big pieces. And then another one, I mean, that's affordable housing, which we think speaks squarely to student veterans, things that have come since the report. Another thing was about the veteran treatment courts, basically how we can, make it so that more veterans are accessing the courts. Our way of attacking this, because those courts run by the state, it's the court system for each county. It ties to the state. We've been focused on trying to identify every single veteran who touches the criminal justice system and on making sure there's training for veteran mentors. So the late Herb Sweat had a group called United Veteran Mentors where they were bringing together mentors to help teach, coach, and mentor them on how you yourself can be a mentor. Even I'm going to meet you for coffee. Who's going to pay for the coffee? I got to go to training in Buffalo. Who's going to pay for the training? So we funded that last year. We're hoping to continue to support that type of effort with being right with the mentors and then running every single person who has cuffs placed on them in the city. If you are involved in the criminal justice system, the criminal justice agency handles all the information, trying to run all those people through something called VA Squares. It's a VA's platform where we can identify, are you a veteran? Are you not a veteran? To kind of bring people out into it. Right now, we run every adult who goes in the shelter system through Squares also. Status query and exchange response, status query and exchange reporting system. It's our way of trying to learn. So for everyone who tells homeless services or vet one does not. We want to get this same relationship going with CJA, Criminal Justice Agency. If we know all these people who are justice involved, we can pull them over to the VTC. So that's kind of us trying to touch that. Another one was, about personnel support for the board. We're working to get an intern for the VAB. We're still trying to work that out. That's a work in progress. The goal was to get some sort of VA work study. Yeah. It's long story short, things have been a little slow lately with it. Given some things going on at the federal level, it's impacted the work study program. We're trying to see if we can get a public service corps intern. We're still trying to work to get somebody who's being paid something to help with things like taking minutes at these meetings, helping out with notes for the reports, et cetera. So we pray that for the 2025 report, that it's as painless as possible for the board as far as y'all leaning on ancillary talent to help you get this done. And we appreciate the board. We just want your brain. We don't want you to have to worry about all this other stuff as far as that piece of it. There was a thing about the legislation for the veteran business owners. We are trying to get legislation passed where if you're a service-disabled veteran-owned business and you're certified by the city as an EBE, Emerging Business Enterprise, you have a higher discretionary spending limit. Just something to make it easier for those service-disabled veteran-owned businesses to access these opportunities. We not get it through this last session. We pray we get it through this next session at the state. The reason we didn't get it through this last session, my opinion, the Assembly was going to put one major veterans bill through. It was between that bill to be right with these service-disabled veteran-owned business owners in New York City, or another bill where you can take your veteran tuition award and transfer it to spouse or offspring. They chose spouse offspring, and that's when we're praying the governor will sign it on Veterans Day. That's A 4358. I'm sorry, S 4358. So 4358 in the Senate, 3240 in the Assembly. That's barely in the Senate, Denowitz in the Assembly, where that's on her desk to sign. So we pray that gets done as far as making it so the earned benefit that is a veteran tuition award, you can now transfer it to a spouse or offspring. But then it brings us back next year. They're trying to go right back at the well on these service-disabled veteran-owned businesses to give them better contracting opportunities with the city.
Who's the, what's those bill numbers again?
It's S 4358, A 3240. This is what's pending signature right now.
Who's the Senate sponsor?
Senate sponsor is Jamal Bailey. Assembly sponsor is Jeff Denowitz. Give me a little bit of time and I'll give you the numbers. I don't know if Nicole, if you have the numbers for the VTAP expand. No, that's VTAP. This is SDVO. I'm sorry, forgive me. I just read SDVOB. Oh, let me get Nicole, give me numbers for VTAP. Yeah, I'm just reading SDVOB. S 4358 is Bailey. Give me those numbers, Nicole. I'll make sure I got it right. S 4358 and then A 3240. So S 4358 is Bailey. A 3240 is Denowitz. Forgive me. This one is VTAP. Nicole, if you can help me out with the numbers for SDVOB, help me with the SDVOB numbers. Help me with the SDVOB numbers, and I'll keep going. Yeah. So VTA, this is what, and so if anyone wants to reach out to folks in the governor's office, once again, if this gets signed, the earned benefit you all have, everyone here who served, if you served non-combat for at least 4 years, you're eligible. If you've served combat, eligible, period. It is 8 semesters at the SUNY rate for going to undergrad, 6 semesters at the graduate rate for going to graduate school, and it's 6 semester equivalents to workforce development training. You can take that and pass it on to your spouse, pass it to your child if she signs this thing on the level. And then what's the
Yeah,
SDVOB?
It's S8233.
Thank you. I'm sorry. What's it in the assembly?
It is
S8233. James Sanders in the Senate, and then in the Assembly, we got Rodney's Bashar Herman. Look at that number. It's down if you scroll down the show. I'll keep going. But anyway, just putting this out as far as things on contract. Street vendor advisory board, we talked about that. Intro 686, we're trying to get folks to push it. Property tax exemption. The hearing is tomorrow. I'm sorry for the late notes, y'all. We learned late too, but the hearing is tomorrow. It's a quicker hearing. It's more of a formality because they're going to do this as far as passing a property tax exemption for our Cold War era veterans. So anybody who served, I can beat me up if I say it wrong. Anyone who serves from end of, think of it after World War II up till just before Desert Shield, Desert Storm, with these the islands that are excluded from that are Vietnam and Korea. So anyone who served after World War II up to just before Desert Shield, Desert Storm, who did not serve during Korean War, did not serve during Vietnam War, this is a property tax exemption for them. This covers folks. A lot of the younger veterans are already covered because anything from Desert Shield, Desert Storm onward, you're covered by the alternative, veterans exemption already. So yeah, I'm off on.
The only thing you're missing is those rare expeditionary medals. So like Marines in Lebanon.
Yeah. So if you got some sort of combat award during the Cold War era, you're okay. But for everybody who didn't, this is going to do right by them. So that's kind of some responses to the report. We already gave testimony. We got the memo we're gonna put together. You got it?
A07627A, which passed in Assembly in May of 2012.
Okay. So A07627. So help me out. This is the SDVOB stuff, right?
Yes.
Okay. So SDVOB, this is for, and it's Sanders and Bashar Herman. This is the one where we got to go back and fight for this next year. And once again, that's S8233 A7627. And then for the VTA, which is very important right now, like in the next 2 weeks, this is a game changer. That's S4358 A3240 for the Veteran Tuition Award. So that's kind of, I'm sorry, it was a lot, but get it out there to you as far as we're going to have this stuff in writing in the future. I'm sorry about us going off the tangent. We want to, within 90 days, get these reports. We committed to it during the September hearing, so we're trying to get it out sooner than later to have this in a memo form, just us responding to everything from the board. So you guys know where we stand and what's going on with this stuff. We appreciate what the board does, and everyone who comes to these meetings, we don't take this for granted, and we want to honor every single recommendation, and we take this and we show it to the electeds, and you can see the effect of it. So yeah.
And just to add for the Public Service Corps, what that is an internship program for CUNY students. So it could be veteran, non-veteran, military family member. Which is interesting about this is not like the work study where you need to be using an educational benefit. So it's a great way for us to engage more of the community into the work that we're doing. So it's an option as well.
We're trying to grow the pool of people we can pull from to come do these internships. And so between VA Work Study and Public Service Corps, we're hoping to kind of get at it to get good talent out there. So yeah.
How's CUNY private to like St. John's?
Yeah, so there's actually a couple of private universities that are partners in addition. I believe NYU is one, Fordham is one, St. John's is one, and I'll check on the others, but there's a good grouping in there. The issue more is getting that out to the students to know about the program, but there's definitely the positions there.
Anything else on?
I mean, the spiritually. Hey, how you doing? Hey, how you doing? Hey. You're seeing the agency slowly shift from building to selling. In other words, we spent so much time trying to build so many programs, so many spaces. You're going to see us peacock hard and harder, not just this next month, but in the coming months and years to let folks know what we've got. We've come to a place where we believe that our 3 primary services, housing is a top service. Next on the list is claims as far as the benefits. Next on the list is, employment / entrepreneurship / education. That's all one bubble. But these are the things that we sell, and we want to get out there and let folks know about it. And so you'll see this coming veteran season, a strong emphasis on a lot of the housing offerings, especially on affordable housing and ownership. There's a Veterans Preference and Housing Connect, y'all. We need to make sure people know. For the ownership piece, we got Sony Mays programming. If you have 1% cash to purchase something, you're eligible for Sony May. You can be able to, get the other 99%. That's a big deal. So for a family with 1 to 2 people, if you have $194,000 or less, you're eligible for Sony May. Family with more than 2 people, $226,000 or less, you're eligible for Sony May. Just tell yourself, I see a house and it costs whatever dollar amount. If I can get 1% of my own cash for this, we can find a way somebody can get me the rest of the money. That's a big deal. So you're going to see us trying to sell that to folks. And then for the claims piece, letting people know, not just having our team around. And by the way, we're here in room 5209 on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 10 to 4. But, we can help folks, period. And then there's the Valone Veterans Initiative, which anyone from the VFW here maybe tell folks about. And then we're working you'll see us in the coming months and just trying to push. We lost 58,000 people in Vietnam. More than 400,000 have died from toxic exposure. We want to come after all of those spouses to make sure they get their dependent indemnity compensation. So you can see us trying to push that heavily in the next several months, especially now that we have staff. We're bringing someone on, brought someone on who is our person for caregivers and dependents. That includes survivors. And so you're going to see us trying to go and find as many people in our community as we can to love on them. You're going to see us try to go after, whole other topic is these White Star families, these families that have folks who died by suicide, who are veterans, to make sure we keep bringing them in the light as well, just whatever we can do to be right by this party. So you're going to see a lot of us in these spaces. So that's kind of where we are as far as this shift from taking all this time to build this to letting people know what's cooking so folks can eat. But sorry.
No, it's all right.
Do you
Oh,
want
so
to say anything about the Valone Veterans Initiative, Lonnie?
you know what? I'll save it till because main focus is Nicole. But quick question on the housing, because I remember Lamar, who of course we know we unfortunately passed a few months ago. He was my primary contact, and is there going to be an increase in like manning? Because I remember that was one of the things that Lamar mentioned when we had the Queens meeting at not the Queens Center, but Ridgewood. Because I know housing, that's the one thing I've noticed. I get constant emails from different council offices, and it's always housing. Housing is like the number one issue in New York City. But
so Mar's team, or now Donnae's team, Donnae Smalls now runs housing. She's now our executive director for housing support services. And so now that Lamar's passed, that team had 7, getting ready to grow to 10. It is still at 10 now, as far as it being that's the size. We're in the process of hiring new folks, part of the growth of the agency. And Donnae leads that group. Separate from that, we're working with United Veteran Beacon House to have someone tying with us in almost a part-time manner, where they are out-con to us, but ad-con to Beacon House. In other words, they're Beacon House employee, et cetera, but they come and they kind of fall under us and they're working out of our office, et cetera, as someone to assist on grant per diem issues. So you're going to see the 10 and then that other person there on housing. So we're trying to put our foot on the gas on it.
yeah, sorry for bringing up that question, but yeah, I know that's something I constantly get a lot of like inquiries on, and I felt bad because I would just shoot emails to Mike because I didn't know that Donnae took over, and that's good that it's 7 to 10 people. I know this isn't like the form, it was earlier in the year, but what's like the average timeline for, say, like a turnaround from veteran coming in the door to, say, getting housing in place?
It's tough because we get everything. I'll say a little bit and Mike can close out. It's tough because we get everything. And by the way, when we talk about team growing, there's also going to be more intentionality placed on affordable housing as well. And so we look at it as 4 levels. You got emergency housing, supportive housing, affordable housing, and ownership. So as we grow the team, we're going to do even more for emergency and supportive. You'll see us very, very intentional on affordable and ownership. You get everything coming in the door from, DHS. We got somebody I just identified who's in the shelter. So we got to help them, to someone is behind on their rent and needs assistance. That's another one that's huge. What we're starting to get into, you'll see next month, us working with Neighborhood Housing Services of New York City on pre-homeownership counseling, folks who want to own. You can rent, you can own. We want to make sure people know you can rent, you can own. But then you're going to see for our older veterans, foreclosure prevention work. So if I'm older, fixed income, I've got this place, I want to stay in this place. Make sure people know what's available to them as far as foreclosure prevention. So you're going to see some of those things for us. But it's just not a set timeline. It's so, I don't know. It's
a difficult.
Yeah, the only thing I would add is, emergency shelter, like very, very rapid. But everything else, so much of it flows from veteran status, and sometimes it's difficult for us to verify veteran status. We had a veteran we were working with. She'd been incarcerated and she didn't have any ID, so there was nothing that we could use to like get her into the system. And so I think it took the housing team about 4 months to locate an old marriage license that we were then able to establish her identity, and then everything flowed from there. And so she was able to get supportive housing that way. But there's just no rule of thumb. It's very much like VA claims, where a lot of it depends on character of discharge, period of service. It's terms and conditions apply. But I know when the next year's cycle of meetings comes around again, if you have specific questions like that, we can definitely make sure they get to Danae.
Yeah, I
that
know.
she's briefed.
I just figured I'd just ask.
And Donna's the best. So you're in good
Oh, I know.
hands.
And y'all, and it's dsmalls@veterans.nyc.gov. We'll put it in the chat. It's dsmalls@veterans.nyc.gov. We'll make sure to bring her out. Something we're dealing with that's more of a federal issue we're trying to fight is if I know, so that was a young lady who's at Bedford Hills, right? If I know you're incarcerated and that you're gonna be getting out and coming to New York City, I shouldn't tell you. If I've already got to know you, know what you're dealing with, know what you need, I shouldn't have to tell you, hey man, go move in the shelter first to qualify for your VASH voucher. That makes no sense. And so between our folks who are in the Veterans Ring at Rikers and our folks who are upstate with the Incarcerated Veterans Program, that's how we're putting hands on folks before they get out. But we don't want to have to tell them to go in the shelter. So this is more of a fix as far as eligibility for HUD-VASH. We're trying to work out, and that's at a higher level. We believe that that's something people are receptive to as far as something so we don't have this dynamic. It's about 30 people every quarter leave penitentiaries upstate and come here to the 5 boroughs with veterans. Yeah.
So you're able to avoid the shelter and they are approved for HUD-VASH or?
Right now, we're not. Actually, right now, we're not. They have to go into shelter for them to be eligible today. For HUD-VASH, they got to go into shelter. We're trying to get things changed where that's no longer the case. Where we need time to see. That's what's important, is we can assess you so we know exactly what is the best fit housing wise. We can get that time if you're in Rikers. We can get that time working with John Darcy and the folks from the state corrections with the Incarcerated Veterans Program. We can be able to get those touches, know enough to know, okay, she's a good fit. Let's just go straight from this to that, as opposed to I need you to move in the shelter.
Oh, by the way, we have Dr. Mecca. I'm sorry, I like that. Instead of Dr. Nelson, our other board member, she's here.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Around the survivors benefit. So I understand you said via Dr. Mecca Nelson. He announced me already. Yeah, he announced me. Yeah. So what I realized is, I know you said Vietnam, but survivors. However, I came in contact just recently with 2 widows that are widows of veterans. They died from health issues. One was in the Hong Kong War. He died 9 years ago. She has never received survivor benefits. And when she did go to apply for it, they told her that, oh, all the records was burnt from Hong Kong was burnt up, so we can't help you. Years later, thank God, she came in contact with me with the program that I have, that I facilitate, that she came to me in distress. Actually, this just recently happened on Tuesday, in distress while I was facilitating, and found out so much information. I was able to make a phone call for her, have them speak to them, and she has 2 different packages now that she has to fill out with that information in it and all his paperwork. That's one. And then I met another widow. Her husband has passed away. Both of them passed away from cancer. Not sure if it's connected because I didn't go that deep into, they said they don't know. So sometimes the wives don't know. Back in that day, the men really didn't talk too much like they do now. However, her husband, the second husband, has passed away for, I think it's either 21 or 22 years, has never received survivor's benefits. And this is an issue because I'm a widow. If no one told me I needed to fill out my paperwork for survivor's benefits, I wouldn't have known anything. I would have been lost in the loop and found out years later. And the sad part, they can't receive retro because the paperwork wasn't filled out in advance of when it was. The one husband that died, I don't want to name their name. So the one husband that died 21 or 22 years ago, he had the paperwork in his backpack. He died before he could fill out the paperwork for her to receive her survivor's benefits. You cannot make this stuff up. And this is the thing. This is why I say I thank God each and every day that I am who I am, where I am, and what I do, because it creates an outlet for people that need it. And when the one lady came to me in distress on Tuesday while I was facilitating, I'm like, of all moments, this is the moment she came in here, and I didn't realize what she was coming to me for. But I was so patient with her. I understood where she was coming from. Somebody told her about me because she had a folders full of papers waiting for me to look over. So I was able to see the honorable discharge certificate, his paperwork, all of his everything.
So Michael, we gonna try to help as many people like this as possible. Not just that. I just brought it out the Vietnam piece because it's such a large number of folks who died from toxic exposure with Vietnam.
And they don't
gotta make sure. And I think about Mike Handy had this job a long time ago. This person was a commissioner back when he was mayor's office of Veterans Affairs years ago. He passed away from toxic exposure. Agent Orange had never put a claim in at all. They worked with his wife to get his dependent and get her the dependent indemnity compensation. And so we're trying to work with as many of these folks. We need y'all to speak people to us. Only thing I gotta say is the person we brought on hasn't gone through her training yet to be accredited, but we do have someone already in that seat.
Yeah. So New York State offers their accreditation training 4 times a year. So the next accreditation training will run from November 19th to the 26th. After that, the candidates then shadow already accredited veteran service officers. And then there's some paperwork that has to be filled out by the VA. So I would anticipate Jael, who's our new veteran specialist, who's going to be working with caregivers, survivors, and dependents. She should be accredited by January 1st, on or about.
Can I say something, though? So from being in this space and dealing with the widows, I realized that I really do believe that, I know it sounds like a lot of work, but it's really not when it comes to these widows. That extra income does a big job for them. I know with me being one and raising my daughter by myself, and these women they're mature women. I call them mature women, and because they're older than me. And what I realized is, how is it that when the veteran died, that no one knows, or there is no protocol for the widow, or even though, yes, maybe the husband should have set something up. But remember, these are back in the days where the women didn't know too much, the men didn't give too much. So how can we, or if it's even possible, my visions be huge. Is it a way that we can track back and look for these widows that was married and their husbands passed away? I don't know, it sounds like a lot, but it's really not, to see how these people are really, they're suffering, crying.
We're gonna try to figure it out, because we're taking one step at a time. For now, as just one example of this, is working with our VVA chapters, 4 VVA chapters here in New York City, talking to them, saying, look, get us information, folks who passed away, so we can try to reach out to their spouses. There's a private investigator we worked with before who's NYPD and Marine Corps retired. We say, look, here's some info we have. Please help us try to find these people. So we, at least as a start point, we pray that word of mouth is powerful too, that folks know this is something we're being very intentional about. So, yeah. But
Dr. Mecca, Commissioner. Well, I will mention, but I'll wait till after the main business, and I owe you a conversation. I apologize. It's just been a crazy week. But we'll speak about the Valone Veterans Initiative once Nicole's done. So, Nicole, you have the floor.
There was something in the chat, so I don't know if you want to read this to everybody in the room, but somebody threw an event into the chat.
Veterans Idea Generation Session.
Yep. Just to share, I can read it.
Posted that. Dondi?
Yep.
Dondi, if you can you, in the chat, can you explain what that is, and we'll circle back to that. And
so that was the only one.
I saw Dondi at an event today. This is about the people's money. This is the participatory budgeting process that Dondi is really the veterans lead for it. As far as, just making sure folks know if there's a certain amount of money, what can we do with it towards issues that affect veterans, other community members. And there's going to be a session at the James J. Peters VA. What day is it, my friend? I saw him at an event. He announced this at that event.
November 12th.
Yeah, November 12th. Don, can you? Yeah, Don.
Yes. Can you hear me? Yeah, it's going to be Okay, it's going to be on Wednesday, November the 12th at 11:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the James J. Peterson VA Hospital in room 5C02. That's the 5th floor. I have included the link. And just, I represent the Veterans Advisory, the Bronx Borough President, Veterans Advisory Council, and we work hand in hand with KCC, which is Kingsbridge Heights Community Center, to put this on. And for the last 2 cycles, just so you know, it's a monetary deliverable. So everyone who has voted with this initiative in the past, who have shown up for the Idea Generation session, we have year to date given over $6,000 towards the James J. Peterson Food Pantry to address veterans' food insecurities through this initiative. Each one of these programs, is going to be 5 programs that will be funded for $200,000 for 1 year. And it is something that we would like to see more veterans get involved in. We have a lot of needs within our veteran community. And so we can use this maybe to help fill some of those needs. And I thank you for the opportunity to have the chance to speak on this.
Thank you, Dondi. Actually, I'm going to put my email in the chat if you can also email me that information.
It's tied to the New York City Civic Engagement Commission. So.
Oh, okay. Because I think especially if it's in the Bronx. It's in the Bronx. Yeah.
Yes, it is.
It would be great if like the different council members. I can also push. Well, we could talk. I'll put my. You know what? I'll put my email in the chat. I'll put it in here in a few.
Put Donnie's email in the chat as well.
Okay,
Awesome.
I got you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
We will circle back to the other thing, but main thing, the agenda for today is on education. So we have Nicole Orlando. Well, now the Deputy Chief of Staff. Congratulations.
So I know that we spoke last time about the education. So today I'll be going over our employment initiatives that we have going on. The slides, we couldn't get them on here, but we will share them out. We have some just centralized information about this. So first, to just get started, here at the Department of Veteran Services, we do a very personalized approach to employment. So this is something where we're not just relying on one system or one group of referral sources. We're bringing the communities together, making sure that at the end of the day, our veteran and military affiliated community get jobs. Or if they're not job ready, because that's something else that we recognize, not everyone coming to us is ready for that 9-to-5 employment or wants that. And we recognize that there's different training opportunities, workforce development programs out there that we want to make sure that we connect them with.
Just listen real quick, y'all.
Yeah.
If you want to go to nyc.gov/vetjobs or smoking and look through some of these things, that's cool too. So nyc.gov/vetjobs, a lot of things you're going to be speaking to. So yeah.
Yeah. So just something on how to get connected with us. So one thing I like to do on LinkedIn is post some positions that people are readily seeking to fill. So that's something where it's not a position that we hold. It may be when DVS has some positions open, we just went through a hiring cycle. But this is where we highlight those positions and can make those connections directly, and it's a little bit more urgently. So I recommend getting connected on there, as well as all of our employment services we do ask come through Combined Arms. So even if it's a situation where someone's out in the field, they meet me, we say hello, we make sure that they get on Combined Arms to Paul Dietrich's point, where we can track what's going on, make sure we're giving updates, getting them connected as best as we possibly can. So we do ask that it comes through Combined Arms. And very soon, November 3rd, which is Monday, we actually will have an employment specialist joining our team. So Army veteran, really excited to be on our team, just to be able to help more with some of that case-by-case management to make sure we're connecting everyone appropriately.
Still in the reserves?
Still in the reserves as well, yes.
And the place which says Combined Arms, nyc.gov/vetconnect is what she's talking about. You just go there and just fill the stuff out. You can put somebody else in also. So you can have, just like we said, be like Paul Dietrich. It's either doing it for yourself or if you can fill certain things out, like I want to just refer somebody else through this. That's available.
Yeah, and then just to kind of recap what we are here for is to make those connections. It's just with resume and cover letter support. And I do have a resume format that I created that we're starting to use with more candidates that come through our doors. We provide different webinars and workshops during the year to highlight certain industries, jobs, some skills that are important in the workplace. We do some interview assistance and practice. And I will say, for all the interview prep I've personally done, they've gotten the role. So I feel like I have a pretty good track record with that. And then we're also connecting to those workforce development programs that are usually cohort based, start at different points of the year, make sure they're on people's radar so that they can join them. So what we aren't, and I do want to be just a little bit more clear about this because I like to be upfront with the clients that we're working with, is we're not a direct placement agency. So we don't have any roles that we're readily saying, you come to our doors, you have a great resume, you have the skills, we can put you into those positions. That's just not how we operate. We make all those connections and prep to get you to that point, but we are not that direct placement agency. Another part of this is our fellow sister agency, SBS, has a program called Workforce One, the American Job Center.
What does SBS stand for, Nicole?
So small business services has a Workforce One Priority One program, which means that they help veterans and spouses. They move to the front of the line for their services. So this can include assistance with creating a resume, connections to different employment opportunities. They do serve in some cases as a placement agency for different companies. So they have those opportunities. There's assistance with close for interviews, individual training grants also. So if you're going for your security guard license or certain courses, they can financially help support that. And they also do their own hiring events. So we're here to help support them. They support us, and we work very closely together. There's just some differences in the tools that we use and just what's available at the different times. We do have some partnerships with some corporate companies that you'll always see us working with, whether it's different positions to be filled, different webinars that they're doing. So that includes Pfizer, Verizon, JustWorks, Port Authority, some cannabis companies as well. Wells Fargo, so we tried to get the range of industries. This past Friday, October 24th, we did a workshop focusing on the air cargo industry in person at Vaughan College. So this was a way where we brought in air cargo companies to talk about open roles, how to best be prepared for interviews, make the connections. We had hiring managers there. So it was a great event to bring that industry to life, and we'll be doing that in different segments. Our last virtual session was with Pfizer, the finance tech company, and they spoke about some of their rotational programs, their internships, the pathways into the company. It was very military friendly as well. So another resource that we use in this toolbox is the Department of Labor DVOP program, so Disabled Veteran Outreach Programs and Waivers. So they're the ones that bring the companies into the DVOP's offices. And they also provide different assessments, employment plans, job referrals, referrals to training and support services, resume and interview prep. So if it's something where maybe you're not looking here in New York City or you have a specific focus, we all complement each other and work very closely together. It's just something else to be able to assist the bandwidth coming in. Something else where we're able to talk about that DVOPs, Workforce One, aren't able to talk about is civil service pathways. So this is working in city government, state government, federal government, and the different pathways to do so. So there's a program called the 55A program on the city level, which is for people with disabilities. Veterans who have a disability rating or have a disability that can be verified by the state are qualified for this program. So if you have a position where it says we're only hiring off of the staff analyst civil service list, what 55A does is it says that, okay, you have a disability, you do not need to be pulled out or take a civil service test, and you can be hired for that role. So you still have to go through the chops of applying, interviewing, but this is just an avenue where you don't have to take that civil service test. I also want to call out there that for all veterans, any civil service exam, there's a fee waiver. You do not need to pay to take that test. And for spouses, there is a one-time fee waiver. And then on the state, federal level, there's the BC programs, which is different opportunities for wartime veterans and individuals with disabilities. And this is something where if you're interested, we can help get you connected with the state who has some workshops that go on around these programs, as well as how to certify your eligibility before finding a position that you're interested in. And we're working on formalizing a way where usually for 55A, the state opens up a case to verify your disability. What we're trying to formalize, which is happening now, we just want to put it on paper, is that you can take your VA disability letter and they do not need to open the case. That serves as verification enough for the program. Now, speaking a little bit more about workforce development programs. So we see these in different industries. We see them in the landscaping and masonry space. We actually have a graduation coming up for some veterans who've completed those programs. Empower, Per Scholars, Pursuit. There's a lot of different tech training programs which help break into the world of AI, technology in general, which builds these skills that can be transferable to different industries and areas. And these are also at no cost. I do want to highlight that as well. Nothing that we would send someone to as a paid training. So that's important to note as well. And then there's some other resources to leverage. So like PenFed Credit Union often has some grants for veteran job seekers who have a little bit of a tougher time, whether you need to build up that wardrobe. They're currently closed right now, but they do open at different periods. And then we also do leverage Bob Woodruff Foundation for some different services if there's some other needs that come up in a job seeker's life cycle.
What if you're a partner and a business owner?
Yeah, so we're going to touch on that a little bit after about the entrepreneurship resource.
Because I remember you, 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 and then I remember you. Look at this. Remember the name. Anyway, I want to say before they helped me, the state veteran took the case, but I came here as a courtesy. Hello to you too. I remember you. I remember you too. I'm sorry. I don't forget a face. You know, I want to say thank you. I'll be back. I was a responder in ground zero, involved in a unit, part of DOD and DOJ and the police. And I'm very lucky that today I'm their clinical counselor / chaplain for DOD, DOJ. No one likes them. I love them. ICE, Homeland, FBI, and DEA. I come a long way as a veteran institute. I'm a great DEA, you know. Being a homeless veteran, come a long way. My badge certificate, I gave it back, number 029-1315. I give it to somebody else to using it, utilize it, another veteran, you know. For that, I just thank God, you know. I'll be back. I'm just going down to the ER, and I'll be back up shortly. Okay.
Thank
So
you.
again,
Thank you for coming.
I'll leave here. And everyone. And running mate is Mr. Ingram. He's running mate too, Mike Ingram. You know, from the Army base, the director, fitness and aquatics, U.S. Army. You know, I am just an Army guy. Did the story. Also, Coast Guard, Homeland, and NYPD. So I'll be back up.
Yeah.
You know, I got to go down because the breathing. You know? So I'm happy to be here. Sorry for the confusion. You know, right now.
Thank you.
And everything is resources that I need. I'll be back up, okay? I'm gonna get some beds.
Feel better and thank you for coming.
Thank you. I'm better right now, being around everyone here. Thank you, making me feel better. Thank
So
you.
much. What's your name again, brother?
Carlos Rios.
Carlos, thank you so
Carlos
much.
Rios. Sorry. Yeah. Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Come back, man. We're gonna keep talking business. So come
Yeah,
back
I'll
about
come
the
back
business
up.
stuff.
Yeah.
Got your entrepreneurship.
That was, sorry.
So Nicole, yeah, you can continue.
Great. Okay.
Oh, well, if anybody has any questions regarding employment, let's hold it off till after Nicole's finished with her presentation.
And he read my,
Thank you.
my next slide was about entrepreneurs. So what we have, so we have our traditional employment pathways, whether that be your civil service, your corporate 9 to 5, your workforce development, whatever you may need. Then there's also the alternate employment, so entrepreneurship. And this is something where we have our Boss Up competition that happens annually, which is like our Shark Tank competition. Pitch Day was actually this past Monday. And hopefully you'll be attending the breakfast on the 5th because we'll be announcing our 10 winners. So we're really excited about that. There's some great group members. I know we have Dr. Mecca, who is a former winner. So we're really excited to have that new cohort in here, and this is something that will happen annually. But I do want to recognize that when they win, they also receive training from Small Business Services, and that's something that happens for any business owner who's interested. So we can share resources about how to sign up for some of those cohorts and programs. And then we also have our Veterans Business Leadership Association.
You said $20,000 to use.
Yeah,
I know,
$20,000
so
Yeah.
yeah,
So
so
each
10
of the
winners, $20,000 each, along with the SBS training. So yeah.
So we're really excited about our Veterans Business Leadership Association, and this is something where we actually brought SBS as their pilot program for VA work study. So they do have a fully functioning VA work study program now, where their interns are dedicated to assisting veteran business owners alongside us. And you'll also, if in this space, I have a new intern from AmeriCorps, Faith, who's going to be really great with doing some more of our VBLA events and things of that nature. And through our VBLA, this is a way, our Veterans Business Leadership Association, to make sure that our business owners are getting connected to one-on-one counseling, coaching and mentorship, MWBE certification, capital and finance assistance, and marketing strategy. We actually have an event for Veteran Business Resources in partnership with SBS coming up on November 12th. So we will share more information about that as well, which there's going to be some different forms of how to get that access to capital. And also just on the entrepreneurship front, and this is something Commissioner Hend and I spoke about, is that in this space with government being shut down and resources being a little bit scattered, be your own business owner, to be your own boss. And this is something where if you have your SDVOB designation, so you're 51% owner of your company, we connect you with the state, with Ken Williams, to make sure you get your SDVOB designation. But 6% of all state contracts have to go to SDVOB businesses. So it's something where there's a viability in contracting, as well as on the city level, 75% of contracts go to MWBE businesses. So this is something where our team at Small Business Services also helps you get that designation to really put your foot in the door for contracting opportunities.
You know what I'm gonna say? I gotta jump in here.
Yeah.
It's, a couple of years ago, it was $140 billion of non-personnel money that the state was spending, 6% of which needed to go to service disabled veteran businesses. They've never broken half that goal. And they're just over 1,300 certified service disabled veteran businesses here for the state. That's it. Just by 1,308 last time I checked. Of those 1,300, a quarter of them aren't even based in New York City. So you can be a service disabled veteran business certified to do business with the state, not even be based here. And to put it in perspective, you've got 1,300 certified service disabled veteran businesses. Meanwhile, you have, help me out with this, I'm messing up, I think it's like 25,000 minority women MWBEs that are certified. So you can see the disparity as far as how there's so few SDVOBs, there's so much more as far as MWBEs. I'm just speaking on the state side of this, as far as how this breaks out. And so we encourage you, please get a rating if you don't have one. Work with the team that does claims work stuff. If there's anything done to your brain and body, let's get you that rating. And then get that certification as an SDVOB and let us help you connect the dots because it's there. It's a lot of money. And our people don't take advantage of it enough.
Yeah, and we also have a listing, a virtual listing that we're climbing to 600 very shortly on our veteran business map, which shows different veteran-owned businesses in the different boroughs. And we're really excited to make some updates there with some different pins and things to identify different of the military-affiliated community businesses. So we're really excited about that. And if you have a business that you want to add or you know of and think should be added, connect with me and we'll have that.
And it's not just if it's a spouse-owned
Yeah.
business too. So veterans, they're spouse-owned.
That's right.
Yeah.
And we estimate that it'd be just under 1,000 active veteran-owned businesses in this city. So it's important when the coast says we're about to crack 600. We don't want anyone to ever say they had trouble finding one of our businesses. nyc.gov/vetbizmap. nyc.gov/vetbizmap. No one can ever say, I didn't know where to find folks. This thing's filterable by borough, by NAICS code, by industry, et cetera. You know, you can find what you're looking for and by certification. See, I'm just looking for folks who have MBE or WE or HubZone, 8A, et cetera. You can find the veteran-owned businesses and spouse-owned businesses that meet those needs. I'm sorry. nyc.gov/vetbizmap. VETBIZ map.
And just to share a little story about that, when I started as an intern and was looking at the map, and we had an event coming up for our VBLA networking event, I actually went on our map for a caterer, which happens to be Andrew. So that's how I found Fusion needs to be able to contract with. So it's definitely very helpful. All right, now I want to do a quick show of hands. By a show of hands, who signed up for our newsletter that comes out every Friday? Okay. All right, all the hands should be up. So that comes out Fridays at 5. Has different events, information going on. We try to put some job postings in there as well that are ready to be filled. Chuck and Curtis, that's their baby, and it comes out great every single week. And it's something that it's a great way to stay informed. Even if you don't read it right away, at least you can reference it, go back. Also on our website, we have past newsletters posted if you just want to take a look. But definitely recommend you all to sign up for the newsletter.
nyc.gov/vetnewsletter.
Hey.
And then also follow us on social so you could see some real-time pictures like Commissioner judging Boss Up and all of the other fun stuff that goes on. And that's at NYC Veterans on X, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. And that is everything. I just want to highlight that anyone that you want to refer over, please have them either connect with me. I'll send them Combined Arms or come through Combined Arms. That's the best way for tracking. Yeah.
Can I just read something that FBNY, also veteran? So he ended up texting me and he said, I told him some things I wanted to mention to you for veterans. He said, so in New York State and federal government, veterans are allowed to use points towards employment as many times as they want. New York State and federal government.
Yeah.
Right? He says, but in New York City and DCAS, they only allow it to be used once. He said that should change.
That would be a statutory change via the city council.
And if I can also speak on that in terms of points, so that is correct, where it's only a one-time 5
A statutory change?
10.
And he said for state, and help me out with this,
You can only use
but no, for state, they can reuse it for state.
State and government.
I'm curious because everything we have is dictated through the state. So I want to double check that because all the different credits that are available it's dictated by the state. So when you see disabled veterans credit or veterans credit, that's dictated by the state. We're trying to get a military spouse's credit, get a surviving, like a surviving spouse's credit. Right now, we're trying to get a credit for survivors. So if I'm a child of someone who's died and served, but that we can't do it with the city. We have to do it through the state. So I'm a little, when he says that state and fed, I don't know, because I think state, as far as general services law, I think that's what we're, what I mean? I don't know if there is a difference. You know what I'm saying?
What's different in the state as well is that there's the BC program, which is a specific veterans hiring pathway, where we don't have that on the city level. So it does rely on the points, but we can definitely look into that. Something that we did have in terms of points with the military affiliated community is that we worked with DCAS, where now if you, there's that period where, let's say FDNY calls you and they ask you to prove your residency within 2 years, but if you were deployed, you were elsewhere, you can't prove that you lived in New York at that time. What we got the policy change to be for those 10 residency points is that if you have any tie to New York prior to your service, whether that be going to high school here, having a business, living here for a couple months, you will receive those 10 points. So we were running into a lot of issues where a veteran would be applying, but the residency points were just killing them because that's what gets the top of the line. This changes.
So can you just repeat that real quick with what I just said with the state and government?
Yeah. So the hiring pathway on the state and federal level for veterans specifically is 55B and C. On the city level, we have 55A, which is for people with disabilities, so a little bit different. And to my knowledge, on the state as well, you can't reuse the points like on the city.
I don't think it's all dictated by state law. So even the city stuff is dictated by state law. That's why I don't know if it's a different standard because we are following everything that civil service laws from the state. You know what I mean?
That's something that I guess that was what he said, that I could some type of understanding wrapped around it to better explain it to him once it's clarified.
Yeah, we just gotta dig into it and look into it. But just at first glance, because we're literally working to get these points, these credits for spouses, for surviving spouses, for children of those who legacy credit they call it. And I know we couldn't do that at city level. We're working on the state side, so all of it flows through the state. Yeah.
Something else to put out there is that technically with DCAS, if you are a disabled veteran and you can use those 10 points, you don't have to use them at the same time. So you can potentially take 2 different tests and have 5 points towards one exam and 5 towards another. So you don't have to use them as a 10, you could split it. Something else I just want to put in terms of city service is that you can buy back your military time as well. So that's something that we were at a Helping Hospitals event and we're sending some of them the information on how to do that. So you can buy back
towards your pension.
Towards your pension. You need 10 years to get that pension in New York as far as in government service in the state, not just city, the government. You need anything that's a New York municipality or state level work. You need 10 years to get some sort of retirement. You can buy back up to 3 of those years. There's some veterans out in Nassau County, some cops trying to get that push to be able to buy up to 4 or 5 years. But right now, you can buy back up to 3 of those years as a New York State or municipal employee.
Question. I know it sounds real though. So, just bear with me here. How is that? Now, let's say the veteran is passed away. They can't buy back they can't buy it back. So can that not be something where it transfers over to the widow or the child? Because when I think about it and I'm connecting it, my daughter is a deputy sheriff, and I'm thinking like, man, if she had that could have helped her because she still got some time to go. And that could have benefited her if she was able to buy back whatever time her father had. Like, I don't know if it's me, but it makes sense to me in my head. That's just.
And this is one where I always have to be clear because we're not, it's really about the electeds and what they'll do. They can do anything as far as those folks we've elected between our folks in the Senate and in the Assembly. This is a state issue. So if you can get somebody to do it, that's great. I can tell you, the cops in Nassau who are veterans been fighting this one for years just to try to get from 3 to 4 or 5 years of buyback just for those who are veterans. So I can't speak to how to affect everybody else. I just know that anything is possible. They can call it out, but it's got to be advocacy as far as letting those folks who are elected officials at the state and the Assembly and the Senate know about it. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Yep. Got it.
So that was everything. So if there's any
All right.
questions,
So if anybody has any questions, well, let's layer it out. Employment. If anybody has any employment questions, first is the board's. Does the board have any questions regarding employment? Anyone? Anyone? General public, just employment at the moment. Anything else we'll just cover after. Anything, anybody even online? Any questions regarding employment?
Can I make a statement? Anybody who's here online or in person, please let folks know about this. Especially, we have so many, was it 30% of federal employees are veterans. And so with everything going on right now with folks, as far as the current shutdown and furloughs, we got a lot of people who are brothers and sisters being impacted, who currently work for the feds, either directly or as contractors. So just let them know we're here to help as far as other opportunities for anyone who has those needs. Just want to say that. It's nyc.gov/vetjobs. nyc.gov/vetjobs.
I do have one question, because I know we emailed.
Yeah.
OCM, how did that go? The Office of Cannabis Management.
So we actually have an event coming up where we've shifted from the entrepreneurship focus because licenses aren't open. So we didn't want to put something out there where there's not an actual application, something that someone can obtain. And we shifted to working with them through their providers who do have license for hiring. So we are tentatively scheduled for November 13th for a virtual hiring event for businesses across New York State in the cannabis space that have different positions that are open. And we work very closely with Carmine, Farm Travel Agency, on a lot of our different cases for him.
Oh, okay. I'm pretty sure Carmine probably spoke to you about his journey. Well, I never met Carmine in person, but I heard about it.
Yeah, he's the best. We've definitely seen him through the different phases, and I think him being such a strong veteran business owner, especially in that space, is something that we're trying to let him share his story with other veterans. And then there's some stuff we're working on with some of the other companies when it comes to cannabis, of just bringing some more attention to veterans in the cannabis space and how there can be more involved.
Nicole, can you speak to the opportunity for our veterans once they open it up again in cannabis, as far as how the state is trying to be right with the service-able veterans trying to get in cannabis? Can you just talk to that?
Yeah, so there is that piece of it where, in a sense, veterans who are SDVOB certified will be pushed to the top of that list or have a different preference when it comes to viewing those applications for licenses. But they are, like Commissioner said, they're closed now, but that will be a priority. And that's something that they're actively tracking as they're a part of some different spaces of VetCon, which is the conference for government contractors, as well as just we're on the cannabis task force as well to make sure that our issues being raised by our business owners are being heard.
Yeah, because I know it was a big issue. OCM, their rollout since fairly new agency was a hot mess.
Which is it, yeah. But they definitely have made
yeah.
great strides, though. I will say that they are putting the foot forward to be able to make sure that they're doing right by our SDVOB veterans, as well as honoring the process that they've set for.
Help me out. I just back up on this. Something we're also mindful of for the good of the group. You've got 3 different gaming licenses that are under review for approval that are all New York City. Resorts World Casino, you've got Hard Rock, and you've got the Bally's project up in the Bronx. And so we're watching these things because these are opportunities for our veterans to get in, be it a job, if you need work, or if you, let's say you run a business, a restaurant, and you're looking at being able to be a vendor there. We want to make sure as many of our veterans who are entrepreneurial or who are looking at employment can take advantage. These are going to be huge booms for the community. So we're trying to stay involved in each of these projects from the context of when you can't say you couldn't find a veteran to hire. You can't say you couldn't find a veteran to contract with. So I just want to put that out. There's a train that's moving in real time right now.
Actually, to jump on top of that, I'm glad you brought it up. Resorts World, it's actually in my district, and Senator Joe Adabo, that's his district. So he pushes a lot. But as far as the vendors, I do want to mention Metropolitan Park. That's one of the licenses. Steve Cohen, New York Mets. People just keep talking about the casino, but it's way more than just a casino. It's actually right up the block from my post. Right when you leave the Willets Point station, the Hard Rock Casino and Hotel is going to be to the left. To the right it's going to be called the Taste of Queens Food Hall. So I found out it was shut down, DeKalb Street. So you have like a lot of small vendors like with other than their brick and mortar. So that will be there. Something to keep in mind, and I do speak to Steve Cohen's chief of staff constantly. They are very big advocates for the military and veteran community. A lot of people don't realize that Steve Cohen, this billionaire owner for the Mets, his son was a Marine in Afghanistan. And when he came back, that's what led him down the road to start up the nonprofit, the Cohen's Veterans Network, and his chief of staff. His brother is an officer in the Marine Corps. It's a pilot. So definitely keep that in mind. That's going to be coming down the pipeline eventually, if their license gets approved. But it's going to be a very big opportunity for veterans in that area. Well, all over.
Make sure you get certified now,
Yeah,
so that when it
you ready-
comes around,
yeah,
you're
you ready-
able, you're
you ready-
able and
you ready.
available.
We have a hand up in the online with Dondi.
Yes,
Housing related? I mean, not
I
housing,
want-
employment.
it's employment related, and it's in regards to the cannabis. Just to make it real quick, I suffer from lung cancer, and it was the VA who actually recommended me to be on medical marijuana for this situation, and and that's been since 2015. So it's working. But one of the things that I was always intrigued by was that this new industry was rolling out, and these licenses and everything were just so expensive. And one of the things in my due diligence I found to be was the New York State hemp sampling agent. And I was able to obtain that certificate actually for under $50. And my ID number is S067. Even though I'm not physically out sampling, I just wanted to know, how could veterans actually crack this nut and get into this industry and just like at least look around? Because some of those licenses is like over $2,000 just for the application fee, and you do not get that back. So on a fixed income, it's really hard to like pull that off. But I was able to find that through the New York State Agricultural Department, they actually have hemp sampling agents, and they look for those. And I was able to give another veteran this information, and she got her hemp sampling certificate as well, and became a cannabis technician. So I just wanted to just share that is a way to like to just get that and just start in the industry at that level. And you can look around and see what you may want to, work towards in the future, and you can earn something and just save up towards that. But there is a way to get into the industry with the hemp sampling through the New York Agricultural, and you can do that for under $50. I just wanted to share that. I found that intriguing. So thank you.
And to just emphasize that point, so there's the Office of Cannabis Management on the state level, but there's also a small business services sector that focuses on cannabis. And at our SBS resource event on the 12th, there will be representatives there to speak about different pathways, access to capital in that space, as well as we're always happy to connect with a veteran at any point with someone in that space who knows. Carmine's one of our favorite referrals, but there's also others out there to just explain the process a little bit more. We did a webinar about a year ago, just talking about this stuff, and it's something that we can bring up again too with the interest.
Could I get your information again? Could you place your information in the chat? Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Anybody else have any I keep saying housing, employment, Jesus Christ. Employment questions. I don't know what's up with me and housing. I always.
Look at me and Donna are best neighbors, so it's housing and employment next to each other.
Any. All right. Last call. Employment. Any questions? All right. Any other? Does anybody have any questions? This is open floor for any questions.
I have a question.
Is it housing?
It is on housing. It is right. That the veteran preference in Housing Connect. What is the situation for? We're talking a lot about surviving spouses. Or is there preference for them if the veterans are in the household and they need help with housing?
Right now, no. We can answer this. Right now, it's just the better at this time. This is the better. Where it's but right now, not.
Oh, yeah, it's right there.
It's surviving.
And
not at this time. We can talk to them, but
What happens if the veteran dies before the housing is put in place and the surviving spouse is standing in the hospital?
this is another one we have to ask. I know for the veterans property tax exemption, it's honored within that. So when it comes to a property tax exemption, if someone has passed away, that the house is still, the only time the Department of Finance will check it was if there's a sale. So once the house is sold, then they'll come back and say, okay, well, there's no new owner, it is. But if you have someone who gets that exemption and it's still being rendered and that veteran passing away, that house isn't sold, the exemption is still in effect. They do not check the veteran property tax exemption. And that's by design.
That would be a good model for Housing Connect as well, just because I working in hospice, these scenarios do present themselves.
No, thank you.
Well, I did have a coffee with Senator Joe Adabo this past Sunday, and he knows me. I said, if this 100 bill crosses the finish line, I'm going to be coming to you for amendments. One of them is spouses. Fortunately, what if the veteran passes away? Same thing. I know. So Dr. Mecca mentioned, it's unfortunate. I see it left and right as an accredited service officer at VFW, but just to have those things in place, it helps. Any other questions? Oh, Peter, how you doing?
Hello, sir. Commissioner Hendon, members of the board, thank you. I just wanted to remind the commissioner that on November 9th, we will have the Bronx County Veterans Day Parade at East Tremont Avenue in Lafayette. I know Commissioner has come before in the past. Just to refresh his memory that we're having that again this year, the 9th, 12 noon, and then concluding at Bicentennial Veterans Memorial Park. Second question, has the board, and I looked online, I didn't see anything, has the board made a selection or consideration for a Bronx veteran representative?
That's a good question. We actually discussed it last week. We definitely would like to see. Wow, do we even have anybody?
I'm tracking Marissa Stray.
I gotta take a look.
I'm tracking Marissa Stray as Bronx. Yeah.
I did apply. I did apply.
I'm tracking Marissa's Bronx. Yeah. So yeah, sorry.
I did apply through Councilman Marato's office. So all my information is in, but I never heard back. So I was wondering.
You know what? I'll speak to, did you speak to April, her chief of staff?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You know what? I'll speak to April.
And I mean, I applied when she first got into office, so it's been a while.
Also, Peter, I saw Ron today in the Bronx event. I'll be there. I'll be at the Queens Parade first. And please put it on ourveterans.nyc. And everybody here, if you have an event happening, put it on ourveterans.nyc. It's the community calendar for our veterans. So just to, anything that's going on, let folks know. So I'm covering the parade in Middle Village, and then I'm heading over to you guys. So I'll be with you by the time the ceremony begins for the Bronx Parade on November 9th. So I look forward to seeing you, boss. So yeah.
I look forward to seeing you too, Commissioner. I know you enjoy that, so that's why I just wanted to remind. And I'll have Ron, respectfully, I'll have Ron put it on the, it says, what is out veterans?
Ourveterans.nyc. Yep, Oscar Uniform Romeo veterans.nyc. So ourveterans.nyc. And you can always put events up there. We encourage everyone, put your events up there. People looking at it so folks know what you got cooking. So yeah.
All right. Does anybody else have any questions? General open forum questions?
There was a question in the chat.
All right. And we have a Bronx rep. Is Marissa gone? That I have no idea, Joe. Like I said, we discussed it. Unfortunately, whoever shows up, any VAB reps, unfortunately, most of the others, they don't really respond. And we definitely need to have some sort of equity.
Did the commissioner just say she was still on the board? On the board?
Yeah, she's still on the board.
Yep, she's still on the board.
Okay.
Consideration. For consideration, also, Joe, I don't know if you want to, how you doing? You doing good?
Yeah, I'm hanging in there.
All right. I don't know. Do you want me to just read off your question or
yeah, just read it off. I mean, it's for
All
consideration for you guys
right.
to eventually talk at one of your executive meetings. I'm asking because this is technically the last meeting of the year.
Yeah.
So I figure at some point you guys are going to have to get together to start that report.
Yeah. For consideration, can anyone in the VAB tell us what the timeline for the annual VAB report will be for this year? Last year, the report came out in the summer, and it is due in the beginning of January. Joe, you were the secretary at one point. Like
Correct.
what was usually the average timeline when you were on the board?
No,
that it
we
usually
tried
came
to
out?
work to get it out by no later than March. I think that was the big, it's due January 1st, but I mean, even working with Wendy when she was the chair, we tried to get it out by no later than March 1st. I mean, that's like the latest. But I just noticed that over the last 2 years, I want to say, it's gotten out later and later. And so I was just wondering, just for your consideration to have that discussion about, taking and just trying to work through it.
Try to push it out sooner. Actually, I'm glad you brought it up. So,
Yeah, just reach out if you want to have a conversation about it.
all right, Joe,
Hey,
thank you.
Michael, good seeing you. Yes, you, Michael Matos.
How you doing? I wasn't sure. I was like, wait, which one?
So real quick, I know I introduced my name, but I introduced that I'm a Gold Star spouse. I'm pretty sure everybody know what a Gold Star spouse is. So, what I just wanted to say, I just wanted to put that out there if nobody knew. But November 17th at 2:30, we're having a Veterans Day event at 2:30 to 5:30, and it's at 3000 Fillmore Avenue in Marine Park in Brooklyn. This is the second one that I hosted alongside Councilwoman Mercedes Narcisse. And if you guys are open to come and celebrate with us. And
What day is that again?
Monday, November 17th, 2:30.
In Marine Park.
Yeah, 3000 Fillmore. I'll send out the flyer. I just didn't want to forget to share.
Send out the flyers so we can cut Chuck and Curtis.
All right. Anybody else have any questions?
Even the VA reps?
Yeah.
VFW?
No, our friends from the from the VA.
I'm sorry. Kathy. Oh, well, Kathy's busy. I saw her.
Okay, sorry.
Thank you, Michael. Thank
All
you.
right.
It's his fault.
It's too many balls. I'm juggling.
Well, you can introduce yourself. Well, first off, thank you for hosting us. Hopefully you host us every year. Here at the Brooklyn VA.
We'll have more sweets and yummies, but we did keep at donuts.
Oh, you got donuts?
We got donuts.
You know what? Actually, no, I can't have donuts. My wife would kill me.
Next time it'll be a charcuterie board. But hi, everyone. Thank you for having us. Thank you for coming to my second home. My office is here in Brooklyn. But I'm Katie Rivera, Catherine Rivera, Kathy Rivera. It doesn't matter. I use them all. But I am the outreach coordinator for the VA here in the New York Harbor. And my colleague Daniel Gonzalez is the newest member to the outreach team. This is the VA outreach team. So Daniel and I, Daniel has extensive knowledge, but more so than I do. We are both veterans. Navy, he served somewhere.
Where are you calling that?
No, he's an amazing Marine, dedicated veteran, and he actually joined us coming from the VBA. So I don't have any updates right now, except that our OPIA, Office of Public Affairs, is the office that is up higher than us. They did just get furloughed. So we're looking at more cuts, more furloughs. We have to get everything approved that we go to. So there was 2 events last week that we were not able to attend, and we had to write those unfortunate emails. We're scheduled to go to the Intrepid tomorrow. We're still waiting for that approval. So it's just a bigger process, unfortunately. So if, these last minute, I was just looking at the calendar that you were like, put everything in. They're just slow to approve and everything's in DC right now. So
What was the department that you say got furloughed?
OPIA.
Office of Public and Intergovernmental Affairs.
Thank
Yes,
you.
Office of Public and Intergovernmental
OPIA.
Affairs.
So it's unfortunate. So, but we're handling it. Our IT department is working with no pay right now. I did just get a text saying, that there are a lot of businesses out there that are helping veteran or helping federal employees, like 0% interest loans and everything going in. But from the VA standpoint, though, right now, you know, we're working on schools and we're continuing our mission and helping people.
And from the Veterans Benefits Administration, they too are experiencing quite a bit of furloughs, so they're taking a big hit as well. Just putting that up.
The Raiders are still.
They're half of them are probably working without pay, depending on how they got hired and under what budget. But half of the adjudicators are impacted as well.
Jesus.
Okay, with this backdrop, what is the realistic time frame? If there was an event that folks wanted you guys to come to, like you and you know, and then how much lead time do you need in the hopes they can get approved with a few people above you to approve it?
It depends on the event. That event that was brought to our attention earlier, you know, if there's any Congress or any politicians, they're looking closely at that. But it really depends on the event. Most of our events are getting approved, which is good, and in a timely manner. They just need more information for the Intrepid. And this all came out about 2 weeks ago. So in the first week, it was a real, it was confusing
So as
for
long as,
everybody.
as long as we reach out to you with at least 2 weeks heads
2
up,
weeks.
at least 2 weeks, just so we know, just, okay.
Even then, like Katie mentioned, there's a lot of variables that they look into. So keep that in mind.
I just have a question with that. So for the Veterans Day breakfast, is it helpful if I send over more information about the
No, we're approved
You're
for the
good?
Veterans
Okay,
Day breakfast.
And the good news is you're both veterans, so you could have just come on your own.
Right.
What's holding up the Intrepid? We haven't been denied any, which is great. We got approved for the Veterans Day parade. I was worried about that one for some reason because it was kind of lingering there. And I was like, and we got approved from the War Council too. They're like, well, we have to see. And I'm like, what? We're like, yeah. But we did just do the Veterans Appreciation in Brooklyn, and we had our mobile unit. So that was exciting when we were there. So we're going to bring out the mobile unit for the Veterans Day Parade. So if anybody wants to walk with the VA, please email me, Catherine.Rivera3@va.gov, and we'll send you more information to jump in on our marching team.
Catherine with a C. So Catherine.Rivera3@va.gov.
I have been hearing a lot of concern in the veteran space about the federal shutdown. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you hosting us. As a member of the board, I would like to put it on record, if it's okay with the board, that this is incredibly concerning for veterans and their families, that this is continuing and they're jeopardizing progress in submitting claims. There was a request yesterday to temporarily shut down the appeals side of the VBA, which was denied by the court. But these are traumatizing for me as a veteran advocate in the VSO, when I'm working with families who are dying and caring for a loved one, and that I have to tell them, put in the claim and hope for the best. You know, that's not helpful. Can we put it on record that we're all troubled and we want this to end as soon as possible as a VAB in New York City?
Can I kind of add on to what Ashley just said? Because that it's at home, because I received the email from the military base. And of course, they're not taking a laptop, their emails and stuff is not going home to their personal space. I received the email from someone at the base, and she said that I need your help. I have a Gold Star spouse in Brooklyn, New York, that lost her husband, and she's suffering real bad. She don't know what she was capable of doing to herself. I emailed her. I can't get a hold of her. I haven't heard from her. From when the shutdown happened till now, I'm so concerned about that Gold Star spouse. I'm praying for her. And if she even have children, didn't even get a chance to get details from the person. So this is, it's concerning. It hurts. It's very deep, because by the time they decide to say, oh, we're back, you don't know, that Gold Star spouse could be deceased. And she may have children. You know, it's sad. You don't know. This is real. This is selfish. It's very selfish. So that hit home for me with the Gold Star spouse. It's not right. It's just wrong. Now she's suffering. I don't even know what she is in Brooklyn.
I'm curious. I gotta take a look, see if maybe we can do a letter from the VAB.
Okay.
I think maybe, well, you know what? Let me speak to Mercedes and ask her.
Who would the letter go to?
I don't know, any one of their mothers.
I will say,
Once you get that.
You have an idea?
Okay.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you, Commissioner.
base, want to piggyback what you.
Just an
said,
idea, what I was thinking.
Commissioner,
It's a
about
great idea.
the HelloFresh, but the food pantry on Fort Wadsworth is, I don't know if it's moved to every week. It is every other week on Fort Wadsworth. And Danny and I went and took a visit and it was busy. And then a week or 2 weeks later, I got an email from my daughter's school saying that people are struggling. And they asked for donations, so the whole school pitched in, and it was specifically for donating foods for this food pantry for the local community, so that they can be open every single week, and so it matters, and it's a hard time for all.
Sharing earlier about the food insecurities already on a precipice, the SNAP benefits being threatened.
Yeah.
It's just terrifying.
And this doesn't just impact veterans, it also impacts active duty service members.
Yeah.
And most of those people going into the food pantry were in uniform.
Yes.
And that is so frustrating.
Just on the, so I would know the numbers impacting our community for SNAP folks, 21,000 for active duty, 213,000 for National Guard and Reserve, 1.2 for million for veterans. That's how SNAP impacting our community. Just make everyone aware of the numbers there. Also, I'm 6, right?
Yeah, I'll speak to Mercedes. And then, Commissioner, you also mentioned sort of where to go. Yeah. Sorry, I gotta, Lori, I gotta throw you out there. So definitely mention, whatever's like, you could speak to the Congresswoman about this. That's important. Because it's only going to get worse. Mike said some of the numbers, and
we spoke about this. So we've connected.
All right. I think we're almost wrapped up. So Joe, again, thank you for bringing that up. As far as the VA report, so I have it circled for March. Question: did Mercedes work with you guys on the schedule for this year? Like what was the coordination? I can't remember. The coordination with
that would have been a great question to ask Jason.
Well,
so I don't know.
Well, we'll call you Jason from now on.
To my knowledge, the board comes back to us.
Yeah.
And then we go and work to secure the sites. So that it's the board comes back to us, these are the 5 days.
And then you guys will work on it.
And then we reverse engineer as far as now let's reach out. A lot of us to get in front of VA to get the sites, with the exception of Staten Island, where we know Gold Star is that perennial host site for Staten Island.
All right. So we'll definitely talk amongst the board. We'll figure out the schedule because I think it should just be out by the end of the year.
Yeah, you get us the schedule.
Everything set.
We'll make sure Chuck posts it online. Our Zoom account will be back by then.
We run it through our events at Harbor Health and at Bronx VA, so that's why I was so happy to be here now to get it to you guys for the prior approval to host staff.
Anybody else have any general questions? We're almost done.
I don't have a question. I do have an issue. My name is Robert Ford. I'm an independent veterans advocate. And to make a very long story short, would you pass me at the recent City Council Veterans Committee meeting, the commissioner made a very beautiful presentation. I was very inspired and to do this. At that time, I made an all only a proposition for the. Are you sure? Everyone didn't get one. that, the VAB, the NYC, DVA, and the City Council Veterans Committee proposed to the mayor's office, to commend and recognize, T2T. T2T is Tunnel to Towers, which everybody knows stems from 9/11. And the idea was, Mr. Joe Bello also made a very beautiful presentation. And the idea is just to publicize the greatness of New York City, serving the veterans and first responders, and just as a matter of a unified effort. I think maybe you're
in the Golden Star family. Don't forget that, because I'm an ambassador for Tunnel to Towers and a recipient.
They
You forgot
are-
the Golden Star families and the FDNY and NYPD widows. The
You also attended.
Yes, I was there.
Thank you. And that's it. That's it. I am here today I spoke to Mr. Bocini about this. Mr. Bocini and I spoke a couple of times. You have great office response. Okay, DBS is just communicative, helpful. They provide all kinds of information. Two other issues. There's been a lawsuit filed against DHS, the Boynton Avenue Veterans Residence, and ICL as the managing agent and whatnot. When I was active in New York City years ago, I noticed the complete lack of available support to the female veterans, the women veterans that are scattered around the city in various shelters. And I spoke to Mr. Timothy Penner, who filed the lawsuit against BAVR, which, by the way, in 1999, I was a resident there myself. And I think it was in year 2000, they put me on the community advisory board. These days, I cannot get any communication from about the female veterans, the women's veterans. I cannot get any response from BAVR, Boynton Avenue, and I cannot get any ICL responses either, because of my identification as an advocate and whatnot. And my question with regard to all of that is, you asked for a question, what support can the VAB and DBS give to the lawsuit against BAVR, the veterans, and also can we ask for a investigation into the status of the treatment, but obviously discriminatory on the part in comparison to the male veterans, to the female veterans, the women's veterans in New York City. Thank you.
Have you spoken to any of the committee members, like Councilwoman Ariola, Chairman Holden?
I haven't spoken to anyone yet.
They're important because they're oversight.
What I want, thank you. I would appreciate, I have my contact information is on these documents. I would appreciate communication about any of those issues. T2T, the female veterans are being discriminated against. Years ago, 3 years in a row, I was running around with a VSO in the city, and they were doing it for Boynton Avenue veterans. 3 years in a row, I could not get anybody to do anything for the veterans, female veterans. I went to Tillery Street myself. Boom, they blackballed me and stonewalled me. I could not get any communication. Now I cannot get any communication from BAVR or ICL. Thank you.
Thank you. I do have to circle back. I know we spoke about it. We'll talk some more, Dr. Mecca. Looking right at you. It was brought up at the last hearing. Well, I spoke to the chief of staff for Councilwoman Ariola last week, and they remembered you very clearly. So they did ask me some questions, and I said, well, there is dedicated days for like Gold Star not so much like I actually had to look it up myself for Blue Star, White Star.
Nobody
I
paid attention until I started speaking about it. Everybody want to take it in like they created the
so
whole rift of it. I'm being honest.
so I did make a suggestion to them. I said, you know, you don't want to keep it too close to like anything Gold Star related. They need to be separated, but I know somebody you should speak to. The person that testified. I promise you, we'll talk after this.
That's why it's like a whole thing. It's a space. I'm very close with them. I had a teacher on Fox 5 with one of the families that I worked with.
I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna connect you with Chief of Staff Phyllis for Councilwoman Ariola.
Also, Robert, thank you so much for coming here and putting this on the table. We'll get context for you too. So I know Tim, something we got him was contacts too, as far as council contacts. We also got Tim, and we do the same thing for you. Contacts with.
I'd like to commend Mr. Bocini and Miss Ali particularly. They have put up with me several times. Thank you.
We're not putting up with you, man. We don't think of us putting up. We appreciate you got a voice, you got to make sure it gets heard. What we could do is give you the information for the Inspector General also that covers down on these agencies. And I always tell folks, the Inspector General, as far as who covers down on us too, if you have anything with us, you don't want to come to us, get that third party in. And then what we did with Tim, which we can do also, is with this being federal funding that goes to these sites, we've also gotten folks from the House Veterans Affairs Committee in contact with Tim for him to talk to them about these issues as well. So if you feel like you've got city options, we know our council as a portion, and the Inspector General for the city, those offices that cover down, that's one. And then for the federal piece, there is the electeds at the federal level that cover down on this piece. And I can't speak to the VA's Office of Inspector General right now. I don't know if the IG offices are open right now. So it's really for the federal electeds are really the best option for as far as places to go when you feel like you get into these walls. So yeah. And to be clear, y'all, we don't advocate ourselves at DVS, but for us, we assist and inform. So if you say, hey, I'm trying to get in front of folks, we can say, okay, here's the people to get in front of, so you know who to get in front of. You say, I want to put this letter up, I don't know where to go. We can say, okay, here's we believe you can get it. So you see our role in all of this.
I just said, well, with the letter, I just had to make sure because I know we have our own, maybe I'm saying wrong, charter for the VAB. Because we don't want the city to come back and be like, hey, you can't do that. But I'm glad Ashton brought that up. We only have a few minutes left. I do have a few things, but does anybody else have anything? Well, first off, happy belated birthday, Navy, 250 years, and Marines. So, yeah, I didn't even say that. A little personal to home. My home VFW post is in Corona. So we're actually having a Flanders Field post, one of the oldest in the country. So if anybody wants to come this Sunday, we're having a 250th bash. We have special commemorative Flanders Field VFW Marine Corps patches. And I pushed my senior vice commander, who's a Navy vet. I'm like, we got to do the Navy too. Got to give me a date. And so I can start working on the mock-up for the special edition Navy 250 patch. Also, I'm going to circle back around. This is in relation to, I know, Commissioner Dr. Mecca. I'm not going to call you Dr. Nelson. I like Mecca.
Too.
So, as far as if anybody hasn't heard, it's going to start rolling out more publicly in the next few weeks of the Lone Veterans Initiative. If anybody remembers Paul Vallone, former city councilman, District 19, he was term limited, and then back in 2021, he took over as deputy commissioner for IGA. For DVS, unfortunately, we lost him last year in January. It was last year in January, right?
Yeah, it was a year and a half ago.
In his 50s, to a massive heart attack. Paul was a great guy. He sat in the Veterans Committee. So anyway, the VFW, the partner in New York, teamed up with the city council, this new initiative. So we have service officers down here. But the way the service officers work is we're not going to be stationary in one place. We're going to be working out of every single council district. So far, we have about 40 districts operational. We just had 3, I believe, this week that came online. Yesterday was in downtown Brooklyn. So we kicked it off in Councilwoman Shahana Hanif's office. And then Monday we had 2. We just locked down a few more. I think Staten Island was done. So I think we just locked down Council District 49, but that's going to be at the Staten Island Borough President's office, Vito Casella, right across the street. And then David Carr's office. That is actually going to be at the VFW post there, right there by the Blazing Star post. People keep calling it the Gold Star post, but it's actually the Blazing Star VFW. So yeah, this is a new initiative. It's going to be important. If you see anything, if you have any questions regarding it, you can ask me. Like I said, I do a lot of stuff. I do some stuff for the VFW.
Especially those new members. We know we got a third of the city council that's rolling over, right? So
Actually, 8.
Is it
to be exact?
only 8? Oh, okay.
We have 8, but we have about 40 out of 51 set up. We will have 51.
Yeah.
So one day a month in every single one of the council districts, we will have a service officer or 2 from like 9 to 3, 10 to 4 doing claims. Ashton, I know you're also accredited like me. I'm sorry, I got to say this, the VFW is the most highly trained service officers. We actually got to go to Annapolis twice a year and actually take a test. If we fail it, the VFW will tell the VA to pull our accreditation. So just pay attention to your council members, their social media. The flyers are really rolling out. We're going to have like sort of an official announcement, hopefully within around Veterans Week, but this is something that's going to be big. VFW has been doing this since the start of the National Veteran Service, which is under VFW National, right after World War I, 1919. So we're going to have 6 service officers and a program specialist running everything as far as claims in the states. So if anybody has any questions, definitely reach out to me. We can speak after. Any other questions?
I don't see any hands in the chat.
And I'm just putting this in what I was saying for Robin. Robin, we'll give it to you in flesh. We'll make sure folks have it in the chat. We have it on the record, y'all. Just the inspector general who covers that on us, that information. Yeah, I got you, boss. And I'll tell you, I'll say it out loud, but I'm putting it in the chat for folks too, so you have it. So there's one inspector general who covers down on all of the Department of Social Service, and he also covers the Department of Veteran Services also. So this is one person who covers down on the Human Resources Administration, the Department of Homeless Services, and DVS, Department of Veteran Services. His name is Jeremy Reyes. The email address is dssinspectorgeneral@doi.nyc.gov. It's dssinspectorgeneral@doi.nyc.gov, and the phone number is 212-825-5920. It's 212-825-5920. And I put it in the chat too. One more time, Jeremy Reyes, DSS Inspector General at DOI.NYC.gov. Phone number is 212-825-5920.
Thank you.
Yeah, no.
Appreciate it, sir.
Yeah, no.
So before we close out, I do want to circle back in the service officer thing. I'm sorry, I got to call him out too, because he's also accredited. So Ashton, so if you have any questions, I know it was brought up with the spouses. There's death pension, VIC. You can definitely speak to any one of us. Actually, Ashton's probably better at this than me. Oh yeah, aren't you accredited too?
I've been accredited by New York State Department.
Oh, and Mike Mulcahy's
for
also
8
accredited.
years, so I believe I may be the senior VSO in the room.
So keep that in mind. But you know, just before we close out, like I said, any
And Benjamin
information.
Pomerantz is the best training in the state and the
No,
country.
I gotta shoot you down.
I'll put I will put you the next time we go, you get their best person. We'll put them up against Benjamin.
Well, you know what?
We'll put them up against Benjamin.
I'll bring the national director, Mike Figlio.
Okay, yeah, what's up, Katie? Yeah, talk.
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
coming up.
I'm not sweating it.
Yeah, I think Katie's gonna say, yeah.
I just want to say unofficially.
Oh, unofficially. Oh.
Unofficially. That we were closing out, so I was like, oh. Unofficially, we just met on Monday, in a subcommittee for post 9/11 veterans. And unofficially, the suicide prevention coordinator, outreach coordinator is Salvina Baresi and Mike Matthews, and we're unofficially working on creating a veteran group for the Polar Bear Plunge January. But
cool.
it's unofficial. So we're working on it. We're hoping to have it happen.
You go Pony Island? What are you gonna do? Pony Island? Next week you Pony Island?
Serpent. So we're gonna be the veteran group.
You can just go out the back door here.
So we want everyone to join. If it becomes we're working on the approvals. But I hope to see all of you out there on that cold.
You said July 1st, right?
I might do it July.
So we got one last thing, Mike Sneakers.
So I wanted to give a quick just shout out. So Fibro Veterans recently engaged with the candidates for mayoral, some public advocate comptroller on this past Friday. We are publishing a voters guide, a nonpartisan initiative focusing on individuals. Our focus is to ensure that you each candidate has a plan for our community. So when we publish in that voters guide is their direct response to the questions we ask them regarding policy. So if you haven't voted yet, wait for it. You have on our mailing list, on our mailing list, look at the voters guide, then go to the polls.
When is your published date?
Should be tomorrow.
Okay.
How does somebody get on that mailing list?
Maybe me after this. I got you.
Yeah.
I have a little assignment thing.
So everybody go to Mike
Yes,
afterwards.
please.
All right, that being it, thank you, everyone. Thank you,
The phone number again, that phone number 212.
Oh, this is what you talking about, the DOI?
Yeah.
It's, all right, it's 212-825-5920, Carlos. 212-825-5920, Jerry Reyes.
And the email.
It's ESS Inspector General at doi.nyc.gov.
Oh, DOI?
Yeah, that's if anybody has any issues and they want to, that's the third party oversees all of it. So they got issues, bring it to them. So Robert said some stuff.
I can reach you your number.
Oh, man, come here, I got you. Yeah.
Thank you.
all right, thank you,
Thanks so much,
everyone.
everybody.
Thanks, everybody online.
Everybody, yep. All right.
Happy holidays.